Hello paddlers! Today I'm at some random lake in Wisconsin. Literally, I'm staying in the Grafton area for the weekend. I didn't even plan on paddling today, but I had all my stuff with me. Saw the name of this lake on the map and I thought that's perfect for today. Random Lake, Wisconsin, population 1,500, has this little lake called Random Lake. One of the locals just told me that I can see the whole thing in an hour. I have my sea kayak with me today, which is a little overkill for this tiny body of water, so I can probably see the whole thing in 45 minutes. But I have no expectations. I didn't plan this, so we'll see what it's all about. I've mentioned before that this particular part of the state does not have a lot of options for paddling, particularly right now because our rain level is so low. I'm not going to go anywhere near the Milwaukee River or Cedar Creek based on my recent experience. As I mentioned, I didn't plan this. I just had all my stuff with me. I've only got 83% of one of my GoPro batteries charged. Random Lake is in Sheboygan County. It covers 212 acres, which likely is one of the smallest lakes I've launched on. I would give Random Lake 8.5 stars for water clarity, which is far from scientific measure, but it looks pretty clean to me. One of the locals told me that the entire lake is a no-wake zone until 10 a.m. I didn't get here till about noon because I was at Milwaukee Summerfest last night, but great to know for paddlers. I don't even fish, but I'm starting to amass quite a collection of bobbers and whatnot that I pick up along my way. I try to pick up a little bit of garbage if I see it, no matter where I'm paddling. I have picked mylar balloons off the water on more than one occasion. I've actually found quite a interesting collection of things over my years of paddling. I found two tubing inner tubes that I ended up just selling. I've found countless number of life jackets, a couple of spare kayak paddles. Oh, one time I found a whole case of those cheap orange life vests that people keep on the boat just so they have enough for a number of passengers. Let's see, I found a Bluetooth speaker, waterproof speaker that still worked. I'm always afraid that when I see one of these life jackets floating in the water that it's gonna still have a body in it. So far, I can be fortunate that that hasn't happened. One of the coolest things I found while I was paddling was a bottle that had washed ashore when I was paddling around Amelia Island in Jacksonville, Florida. Whiskey bottle, completely intact. The cap was even screwed back on it. Just wonderfully preserved, and I took it home and I ordered a dispenser on Amazon. I turned it into a dish soap dispenser. I'll show you pictures. Pretty cool. I find some cool stuff out here. So one of the locals told me that this lake is well known for muskie fishing. Not knowing the first thing about fishing, that surprised me a little bit. It seems like a pretty big fish for a small pond, but what do I know? Maybe we'll see if we can find some with the GoPro underwater. If you're going to visit Random Lake, there is only one access point, and you will pay $8 to park there. $8 seems like a pretty low price to pay for a day of paddling and pleasure on the water, but I kind of like that it's a parking fee rather than a launch fee. Everybody that comes to enjoy the public areas, the beach, and restroom facilities or whatnot will be paying the same charge whether you're launching a boat or not. If you're coming to Random Lake from the Milwaukee area, you will see the largest cheese store I've ever seen in my life on your way up here. And I'm not talking one of those on the side of the interstate touristy, looks like a chalet type places. I'm talking like a big honking cheese store. Cedar Valley Cheese is the name of it. One year I collected about 7 or 8 boat bumpers in the marshy area of my home lake that boats with motors just aren't able to get in there and retrieve. This is where I find a lot of my treasures, i.e. garbage. Areas that motorboats just can't get to. I'm in probably about 18 inches, 20 inches of water, and the bottom is just mush. I like to think that most of the bottles and cans and whatnot I find on the water are purely unintentional. They just blew off of people's boats or whatnot. But I do try to make an effort. What the hell is that? It's alive. No, it's just a root. But it looked like it could have been a dead snake for a second there. Just somebody that might be in a little bit of denial that they could use a little vision correction at this age. Looks like Random Lake has a public fishing pier access. It's roped off presently, I don't know why, but it looks like it's also an ADA fishing pier as well. Caught a crab. Strangest thing I've ever found while I was kayaking was a vacuum cleaner. Full-size, upright vacuum cleaner, partially buried in the sand on the Wisconsin River in the Dells area. It was the year after Lake Delton had drained into the Wisconsin River, so I imagine it was from one of the households that collapsed and fell into Lake Delton during the flood that year. Oh, here's another weird thing I've seen. One of those gigantic teddy bears that you see at Costco that's like, I don't know, 3 feet long or something. I found one floating in the water, half burned. Viking funeral for Teddy? I have no explanation. If I were a local here, I would definitely be taking advantage of the no wake time before 10 a.m. here. There's a lot of personal watercraft here, and maybe they just fail to realize how much of a wake they actually create, but it's been my experience that the personal watercraft are by far the most disrespectful to paddlers compared to any other craft on the water. The lake is a little bit busy, but I did arrive at noon on a Saturday in July, so that's to be expected. I don't find it to be obnoxiously overcrowded. One of the advantages of paddling such a small lake is that it looks like it could storm on me any moment, but I'm really not worried about that. I could get off anywhere or get back to my public access point pretty quickly. Yep, I'm getting rained on here. Lake people do know how to party. These people haven't even built their house yet, and they're hosting festivities. Random Lake. Not exactly what I would consider a weekend destination, but certainly a fun afternoon if you happen to live in the area. Random Lake only has about 3 miles of shoreline, so in an afternoon, easily see the whole thing 2, maybe even 3 times. Would I want this as the location of my lake home? That would be a hard pass for me because it's so small. I think I would get bored pretty easily. I never know where the waters are going to call me next, so please subscribe so you don't miss any of my next adventures.